Everybody, welcome back to the channel. Overwhelming consensus in the comments section below the last video was to try and get those pre-combustion chambers pulled out of that head. So we're going to give it a try today. I don't remember who, but one comment that struck me said the only clear vision is 20/20 hindsight, and we're not going to know what hindsight is unless we try and make some regrets. Let's get to it. Well, we've got 4 bullets to dodge today, so we might as well start with number 1, right? Oh man, not a good sign. Let's try number 2. Oh, nothing. Let's try number 3. Nope. Number 4, come on. Just give me 1. I'll sell it just for 1 for now. Ooh, we got some movement. I think it did something. Yep, it's clicking. A little more each time. So we've been going back and forth on it for 10 minutes and it's turning out, but man, all the rusty stuff that's coming out of here, we've been soaking it with the penetrating oil, and that stuff is just running out of there. And I don't think I'm so much stuck back there on the threads. I think we're just tight around here where it goes up through that bore from the cooling system. But we're going to keep working this one. It seems like it's turning all right. There, I got one of them out. Taking a look at things. It looks like it did start to gall threads a little bit up there towards the top, but nothing that it isn't repairable. Rubber seal is about how I expected. No good at all. The body really isn't rusted or pitted at all. That makes me feel good. So there, we got one out. So we're only 75% screwed. We're not 100% screwed like we were before. Okay, so I decided to try those other chambers again, so we went back to number 1. We found a nice long piece of pipe to put on our bar, and I thought I had detected some movement. Turns out I broke my tool. I cracked the weld right out. You can see where the center of it's broken loose and starting to turn out. So that's about as far as we can go today with the tooling that we have. I'm gonna have to see about repairing that, or maybe getting something that's a little bit more robust. But 1 out of 4, that's where we're sitting for now. So that concludes phase 1 of trying to get those pre-combustion chambers out of the head. I wanted to put a wrench on them before I really got too carried away with things, see what was going to happen, and turns out we only had 1 taker. So we're going to begin probably an extended campaign of soaking this, giving it time, and throwing a few other tricks in there. In the process, I'm not going to give up on these 3 chambers just yet. I'm not willing to destroy them at this early stage just in the name of getting them out. Don't know if I'll be successful in saving them all, but I'd like to be able to salvage more than just 1 out of there. So that means we're forced to switch gears here a little bit. So luckily there's still plenty of busy work to do on 1113. I got both of these trays of hardware that need to go in this engine block. You can see I've already fully installed the 5 head studs that run right down the center. Reason for that, I need to get these liners locked down in position. I've been really careful not to rotate the engine, turn the crankshaft at all, because any upward movement of pistons would push these liners right out of their bores. So that's why I have these little pieces of flat steel, very well deburred. What they're going to do is go down over the studs, and I'm going to have them rest on these two, on the high points of the liners. The head gasket seals on these lower areas, so we'll be above that. We don't have to worry about if we put any kind of little marks in those, which I doubt we would anyway. But so we'll have a plate that goes over the stud, little piece of pipe sleeve for a spacer, throw a washer on there, lock it down with one of these cylinder head nuts, and that should exert well enough force on those where they're not going to move. Okay, everything's cinched down, and these liners are clamped in place, finally secured. So if I need to rotate the engine, turn anything, I don't have to worry about these moving. I did go and I also rechecked my protrusion all the way around. Everything is still right where I left it when I first installed them. So it's good to know that nothing has moved since this engine's been upside down. So from here on out, we can just go and get the rest of these studs installed. And the threads in this block are a bit of an interference fit. They want them to be tight on purpose. You can usually get them part way in by hand, and then you just have to finish them off with a wrench. And it's been my experience on these D3400s that when these tighten in, you should be in the neighborhood of 4 3/4 overall height. Once you get them there, I'll just take those nuts off. I am a fan of double nutting these things and running them in that way. Stud removers and installers can mar up the shank, so I just kind of like doing this. It's a good painless way, and you don't leave any marks behind. So just continue on and get the remaining holes filled in this thing. Okay, rolling right along, I'm going to start installing the studs in this right side of the engine. I'm going to start with the 5 main hold-down studs for that external oil manifold. Here they are right here. You'll see 4 of them are uniform in size, but this one has a shorter, coarse threaded end. That short stud has to go in this hole. Reason being, the oil pump drive unit resides inside this bump out. If you don't remember what those pieces look like, you can always click that link right there, go refresh yourself, but it's really important to get the shorter, coarse threaded end stud put into this hole right here. If you put one of those longer ones in there, it would contact that drive and bottom out long before it got tight. So all the 1/2-inch studs are installed, tightened down, and as long as I was at the front and in the neighborhood, decided to install these 2 smaller 5/16 studs up here, again using the same double nut method that I did with the head studs up there. So those are in, and we'll finish up with these 4 3/8 studs here. I just haven't started for now. I haven't tightened them in, but those are for the lower end of the oil manifold and also the oil filter. And I'm not going to get too excited about telling which length goes where. You can see there's a longer one, a mid-length, and then 2 of the shorter ones. This is 1113 specific, and the length of these studs is going to vary depending on what generation of oil filter setup you have on your engine. So this layout is not D3400 specific, or it's not one size fits all for the D3400, I should say. So I'll finish up by getting these fully installed, and we'll move on. So that completes the stud installation work that I had to do. I got one last item I want to tick off the list, and that is to get this starting pinion engagement mechanism installed up in this corner of the bell housing. It has to go in before the flywheel and the starting pinion anyway, so we might as well get that knocked out of the way. So this is some pretty straightforward assembly. I've done some rather in-depth videos on these mechanisms before. Pop another little card up in there. You guys can go check that out if you so choose. But I put a light coat of grease on the shaft and the guide rod. Just slide that return spring on there. And I've said it before, but I'll say it again. I just can't believe how, I mean, this thing is just in pristine condition. There's no wear on that pad at all where it pushes on the end of that pinion sleeve. I mean, 1113 really didn't show many signs of profound wear at all. But I'll just start this into that bushing. Next, also with a coating of grease where needed, the little pivot can go in. You need to manually push that engagement rod in so that the leg on the end of the pivot can engage with that notch. Now this may be a little bit hard to see, but start the lever onto the end of that pivot shaft, get the key lined up. Sometimes wedging a screwdriver in there just to spread the clamp load on that lever, on the engagement handle I should say, helps you to work it onto that pivot shaft. And once you're happy with the position of the lever on the shaft, just finish up by cinching the jam bolt down at the bottom. So to finish up, just verify operation, everything is as it should be. So after the false start with that cylinder head, we did get quite a bit of busy work done on here, things that I'd been kicking around and looking at getting put on the engine anyway, and we still have a lot left to go. We can do that oil manifold, we can do the filter, we can get the flywheel on, we can do the fuel tower, we can start on the injection pump, we could even do the starting pinion. Plenty of work left to be done while we're harassing that cylinder head. But we made the first attempt at it. We learned what was going to come out of there and what's going to fight us. So from here on out, it's just try different things to loosen those up and just give it some time, have some patience with it. So we will continue on here. Like I said, plenty of other work to do on 1113. Just got to decide which area I'm going to look at next. Thanks for watching, everybody. Tune in again.